So then, yes, before we get started with the review, I've heard the fantastic news that McCartney is releasing a new album. I'm very excited. Egypt something. I've already forgotten the title because I'm that much of a fan. So yes, I'm very excited. Before you all ask me in the comments, what do you think? Have you heard? Blah, blah, blah. I'm very excited. I will be purchasing. I will be listening ASAP, and I probably will be reviewing ASAP for you and coming out my chronological order for a new McCartney album. But until then, we're going to go back in time again and carry on reviewing his albums in chronological order, which means the next one up is Back to the Egg. So, hello, and yes, welcome back to another album review, guys. Very exciting. It's a great time to be a McCartney fan at the minute. So, again, really wanted to do another McCartney album review anyway, because I'm really piling through them. With the Last Wings album, thank God, we can actually move on to solo McCartney. Don't get me wrong, I love Wings, and I've really enjoyed doing the Wings album reviews, but I'm really pleased we're going to get to move on to some proper solo McCartney again. I'm very excited about that. But it's a great time to be a McCartney fan, because as I said at the start of the video, his new album has been teased a lot. I love the way he's been teasing it. I'm really excited for his new album. I heard it's randomly going to drop. Not a fan of that. I like the build-up. I like getting it on vinyl instead of listening to it online first. So I'm not a fan of it randomly dropping. But anyway, it looks like that's going to happen. But I'll still listen to it, and I'll pre-order the vinyl because it'll come out on vinyl, of course, at some point as well. And, you know, very excited, very excited. But today, the day I'm filming this, it is Paul McCartney's 76th birthday as well. I don't believe it's going up today, on the day I'm filming. It'll probably go up tomorrow, so the day after, or maybe even the day after that. But yeah, at this point in time, it is Paul's 76th birthday, so happy birthday to Mr. McCartney, the living legend. So I thought, yeah, let's do another review. Let's do another album review, because it's the Last Wings one. After this, I can finally talk about solo McCartney. We're past the Wings stage. We're past the whole 70s stage. We've done a whole decade of McCartney material, which is fantastic. And I find his 80s stuff a lot more interesting to talk about, because it's a lot more controversial, I think. I hear some people say they really like his 80s stuff, and then some people really hate it. So it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Last Wings album today, and that is Back to the Egg. In this review, I'm going to do the usual, other than the album ranking board. Still don't have an album ranking board. As I said in my last video, I've gone from a Microsoft laptop to an Apple laptop, which I've got right here. So I'm looking for some new software to recreate my album ranking board. I'm not sure what software to use. So if anyone knows any out there, if anyone has any free apps that would allow me to replicate my album ranking board, not necessarily replicate, but recreate it similar to how I had it before, that'd be fantastic if you let me know in the comments below any ideas that you guys have got. But anyway, for now, the album ranking board still not back. But we're still going to do the usual. I'm going to give you some information on this album. We're going to go over each track individually, mark each track individually out of 10. I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record. We're going to mark the album artwork for this album out of 10. We're going to add up all the scores, which will be 14 tracks plus the album artwork. So 15, we're going to add all the scores up, divide it by 15, which is going to give us an overall marking for this album out of 10. So without further ado, I've rambled for nearly 3.5 minutes now, so let's get started. So Back to the Egg was released on the 8th of June 1979. It was the 7th Wings album and final Wings album, of course. But 9th McCartney album, if you're going to go from pre-Beatles, so McCartney, Ram, and then we hit Wings with Wildlife. And it hit number 6 in the UK and number 8 in the US, which, to be honest, I think is pretty good for this album. I'm not sure if it deserved those spots. But anyway, as I say, this was the Last Wings album because the band did tour it in the UK. They were promoting it very well, a lot better than they did London Town. It almost felt like how they treated Wings at the Speed of Sound, which they promoted brilliantly with their Wings Over America tour. However, of course, the tour got cut short when Paul McCartney was arrested for carrying, I forget what it was, marijuana, weed, I don't know, something bad type of drugs, I forget what it was. Yeah, smuggling it in an airport. Good job, McCartney. Good job. So yeah, tour got cut short. And then before you knew it, Wings were separated, and McCartney was already working on McCartney too. However, this album still had a lot of potential. It had a lot of influences going into it. When Paul went into the studio, he really went in there with this huge influence from the new wave music and a lot of punk. I also get a lot of progressive rock influences on certain tracks on this album as well. I really feel like London Town was a very mellow album, and on this album, Paul has decided to take a lot of influences on board, which is why I enjoy this more than London Town. But anyway, it is a chock-full album. There's a lot of stuff on here. 14 tracks. And there's a lot of filler, but there's also some really, really good stuff as well. So anyway, we'll get straight on to that. So anyway, the opening track is Reception, which is... It just starts off with a man talking. I'm not even sure what he's talking about. There's probably some reasoning behind him. Someone will probably let me know in the comments below, but I'm not going to lie, I couldn't even be bothered to find out what he was saying because I didn't really care what he was saying. It's literally just a guy talking. But then he goes into this really fun instrumental, which I really like. It's very well paced because of the bass work that McCartney does. The bass work on this song is fantastic. But then what really shines is the keyboard work, which I'm assuming Linda was doing, and it sounds fantastic. However, I am only going to give this song a 5 out of 10. Why? Because it's actually a really good instrumental, and I don't carry it through. It's literally only a 40-second instrumental. It's a minute and a half long song, but the rest of the song's taken up by this guy randomly talking, and he still talks throughout the instrumental parts of the song. Kind of takes away from the song. It's almost like they got a good instrumental and they just thought, we'll kill it. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. And then we go into the song Getting Closer, which immediately starts with Paul singing. And might I say, his vocals on this song are amazing. So you're instantly going off a song that was to, now this is more like it. This is why I bought this record. This is why it's got Paul McCartney's name on. Fun, silly lyrics. The guitars and bass just sound awesome together. They play so well off each other. And I love that the song has two different styles to it. It's like, you got the style which Paul starts off with at the start. And then after he sings the chorus part of it, where he goes, I'm getting closer, it's like his voice deepens, deepens. And then he goes into this weird phase, which sounds incredible. It sounds really good. So it's almost like he's envisioned this song in two different ways, and he's kind of combined it, and it sounds really good. Paul shines so well on this song, whole album really, but as I say, because the bass work is fantastic and the vocals are fantastic, I'm going to give this song an 8 out of 10. It's a really good song. Then we go on to a track called We're Open Tonight, which I'm sure some people are really going to like. This is kind of like, those of you who watched my London Town review remember I had a massive problem with cufflink. I got a similar problem with this one, but it's not the vocals, whereas I had a huge problem with the vocals. See, it was cufflink, wasn't it? Let me check. I've got the album right here. I'm pretty sure it's cufflink. Oh no, I'm Carrying. That's the song I had huge problems with. Again, we've already discussed it in the comments on my review of that, but I hated that song. And I really like it when McCartney does some little acoustic numbers, you know, I'm trying to figure some off the top of my head now, you know, Here Today, Little Willow, you know, he does some great acoustic numbers. But this one reminds me of I'm Carrying, not in the vocal sense. The vocals are actually really good on this song, a lot better than I'm Carrying. But it starts off with this little acoustic, dun, 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 and it sounds fine, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but then after 2 minutes of it, you're like, wow, that was boring. Because it is, it's just, the song doesn't do anything, it doesn't attempt to go anywhere. The guitar just sounds annoying by the end of it, so I'm going to give this song a 5 out of 10. I don't have the guts to be too harsh on it and give it below a 5, but I'm going to give it a 5. It's not a very good song, really. And we go on to a track called Spin It On, which is a nice rocking song. So much needed after We're Open Tonight. Very simple lyrics, but the vocals are awesome again. Incredible vocals from Paul. And it's very fun at times, but not a well-structured song. It's like, again, it feels similar to We're Open Tonight in terms of structure. It's like, again, they had this song, and they just didn't know where to go with it. And that's how quite a few songs sound on this album, to be fair. It's like they've come up with something, and instead of adding another verse to make it feel more like a complete song, and make it just have a better structure to it and a bit more dynamic to it, it ends up just being a very flat song. And if it's fun, it's a very flat fun song. Or if it's boring, it's a very flat boring song. This one, luckily, is on the fun side. It is fun. It is energetic. The guitar works great. McCartney's vocals are great. But again, this song, it just doesn't carry well. It's okay. I'm going to give it a 6 because I do enjoy it when it's on. But it's just not memorable because it doesn't do enough. Then we get a track called Again and Again and Again, which is a Denny Laine song. Denny Laine, of course, always has been getting a song ever since Bang on the Run, which is fantastic. And it's it's showing how good Denny Laine is, really. I know it's Laine McCartney written this one, I think. But really good lyrics. Probably the best lyrics we've got so far on this album. Great vocals from Denny Laine. Not quite as good as some of McCartney's performances so far, but very, very good vocals still, considering he's got to compete with one of the Beatles here. It's like, and unless it's Ringo, you're going to struggle when it comes to vocals. So he does a very good job at keeping up with how good McCartney's doing on this album. But it's so fun. The song has nice slow moments to it. It's just so well structured. The chorus is catchy. This feels more like, this is the most complete song yet, alongside Getting Closer probably, where it's like, it actually feels like a proper structured song. It feels like it's got parts to it. I'm going to give this song an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very underlooked song on this album. I generally think it's one of the best songs on here, and people just look over it because it's a Denny Laine and not a McCartney song. But it's really good. Then we move on to Old Same Sir, which is, I believe, was one of the first singles for this album, first or second. And it's a great sounding song, fantastic sounding song, in fact. Has great guitar and drums that play off each other. Sound fantastic. And then I love this piano that comes in where it's like do 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 do. It's like we've got a really, really cool tune to it. They've done a really good job on capturing that. Sounds fantastic. Paul stretches his vocals to the limit on this song, and it pays off so well. It sounds fantastic. It's a really great song. There's only one thing I don't like about it. And that's just, I feel like it's a bit too short, maybe. It's actually one of the longer songs on side one, but I really feel like this song could have gone on a bit longer. It just sounded really good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really like it. Then we get Arrow Through Me, which has become a very popular one amongst the McCartney and Beatles fan community of these later years. It's one which gets remembered quite well off this album, and I completely see why. It's got an awesome bass line going for it. Paul's vocals are also really good. I love the stages to this song, the build-up and whatnot. The sax part is great. It's a really good closer to side one. I'm going to give Arrow Through Me an 8 out of 10 as well. Then moving on to side 2, where we get Rockestra Theme. I really am not looking forward to talking about this song because I don't know how to talk about it. It was meant to be this epic song full of some of the greatest artists ever. McCartney has pinched musicians from bands like The Who, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. There are so many fantastic, incredible, brilliant names attached to this song for nothing. It is one of the most boring, dry instrumentals I've ever heard. And again, I know there's people who are going to like it. This is my opinion, guys, of course. I'm happy you guys like it. Destroy me in the comments if you want. Hit that thumbs down button. Why not do that as well? But I personally hate this song because of the potential that was there. The potential of what could have been. And at the end of the day, we got an instrumental that goes on for too long for what it is because it's just repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over. And then you don't hear, like, Pete Townsend getting a minute to shine on this song. I don't know who's doing what guitar riff, who's doing what bit. All I know is that Paul wants to take spotlight. I mean, he should at the end of the day because it's his song. But he's the only one who gets a chance to take spotlight because he does this, yeah, every 20 seconds. It's bad. It's really bad, I think, considering the talent that was behind it. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm giving it a 3 because they had a member of The Who, a member of Led Zeppelin, and a member of Pink Floyd. That's my thinking behind it. That's awful. But so, it's not a bad instrument. I mean, it is. It's not very good. It's pretty boring. It's like a 4 out of 10 instrumental. But the potential behind it is just disgraceful for what we got, I think. Anyway, there's my 2 cents on it. Some people are going to like it and they're probably like, oh, what the fuck is this going about? Anyway, next song, To You. Much more fun. Love hearing Paul play around with his vocals on this one. It's so much better. It's a bit of a relief, this song, actually, in fact. And yeah, as I say, Paul plays around with his vocals and it sounds really good. Good backing vocals from Linda. You'll notice this first time I'm talking about Linda because her presence on side 1 is not great, other than Reception, that little keyboard part, which I love. But yeah, really good backing vocals from Linda. Very fun, but it sounds like something's missing from this song, almost. It's weird. It's, again, it feels a bit incomplete, I think, this song. It is really good. I like it, but... and there's one thing which I absolutely hate about this song, though. And that's the guitar solo. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the worst guitar solos I've ever heard, unfortunately. But it's alright up until then. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Then we got the ballad song, After the Ball / Million Miles. So it's a nice ballad song from McCartney. Not one of his best, but not one of his worst. It's kind of one of those ones that bits right down the middle. And it's fine, it's good. You know, Paul sounds great with the piano and probably the best lyrics so far on the album. Probably the best lyrics on this album up to the closing track. Yeah, it's alright. I really, really love Million Miles though. Absolutely love it. I know some people don't like it, but I love it because it's different and unique for McCartney. I love what's the name of the instrument he's performing with? Can't think of it. It's escaped my mind right now. But those of you, you know the song. You know, he sounds brilliant with that. It's just a unique McCartney song. It sounds incredible. I personally love it. I wish that was the whole song, really. Even though I do like the ballad part. I love the After the Ball. That's probably like a 6, 7 out of 10. But Million Miles is fantastic. So I'm going to give these songs, because they're combined, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's really good, really fun. I really like it. Then again, we got the same thing here. Winter Rose / Love Awake. Really strange sounding for Paul. But I love the tune he's created. It sounds fantastic. It sounds kind of modernish, really, like today modern, nearly. It sounds like a really cool backing song from like one of Disney's animated films when they go through like the creepy stage where the character's lost in the woods or something. Sounds great. The only problem I have with it is Paul's vocals. It's the only bad performance he does on this album, to be fair, I think, vocal-wise. He sounds really good on every other song. This is the only time he doesn't sound great. But then, again, going into Love Awake, it's a more fun, acoustic, classic McCartney song. Really, really good. I'm going to give these 2 songs a 7 out of 10. Then we get the broadcast. I'll give it a 1. I mean, those of you who've heard the broadcast, I mean, I know some people say shouldn't even mark it out of 10, but my view on these album reviews is if they've decided to put it as a standalone track, then I'm going to mark it as a standalone track. And unfortunately, the broadcast does absolutely nothing. I'm sure the guy is speaking something that relates to this album or relates to something that was going through McCartney's head then or as in the past when he was a child, maybe. Don't matter, I don't want to listen to it, it's garbage. Then we get a track called So Glad to See You Here, which is a really rocking song, much needed, of course, after the broadcast. Great vocals with great lyrics. Well, not great lyrics, but really good lyrics. And I love the chorus as well. So Glad to See You Here, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 too. Then we go on to the closing track, Baby's Request, which is Paul reflecting on songs which his dad used to play when he was a kid. In fact, Paul even talks about it when he actually performs songs that his dad used to play as a kid. On his 2012 Kiss on the Bottom album, he actually goes back and talks about this song and I believe he redoes it on the Live Kisses Blu-ray. Beautiful vocals, awesome lyrics, best lyrics on the album. The double bass sounds fantastic. Linda sounds great in the background. Great music video. I adore this song. It's the best song on here without a doubt, in my opinion. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Woo! Well, we made it. We made it. Let's have a quick look at the record here because we're getting on now in time and I don't want the video to be too long. But first off, I absolutely adore this cover. I think it's a fantastic cover. I really like it. Very random. Very weird. But I love you can see the whole band there. I never used to think that was Linda as a kid. I don't know why. I used to always think they got someone else in for some weird reason. I mean, I don't know why they would. So I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, weird. Like the back, you can see all the members. There's your songs. Now, I really like what they've done with the inner sleeve as well, actually, because you can actually see the record label. It's pretty cool. There's the other side. And, of course, the label's fantastic. You've got Ego. Very cool. Really like it. Really love the artwork to this album. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Really, really cool. So anyway, I've added up all 14 scores for the songs, plus the 15th score for the artwork, and this album, out of 10, is going to get a 6.7. I know that seems low, guys, because it's a very popular album when it comes to McCartney and Wings. People really love this album, and I do. I think it's a really good album. But when scoring these songs out of 10 and doing it the way I do, you do kind of realise there's a lot of filler on here. There's a lot of bits and bobs that don't need to be here, and it does pull the score down, unfortunately. And it is what it is. But I really do enjoy this album. I think it's really good. Really good McCartney album. Really good Last Wings album. It's a good album to go out on. But that is it for this review, guys. I hope you've enjoyed as always. Please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.